There you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I can. Give me a second. I'll
Great.
turn on my camera as well. Oh,
Thanks. Well, let me send the link out to invite a few more people up here.
cool. I'm gonna have to change something on my camera here for a second. Video. Oh, it's actually correct.
Sometimes where are you located right now, Alex? Oh, it works.
I'm in my basement here in Norway, so
Oh, you can see we're finally back home with your doggy. Why?
yeah, I mean, I'm jealous of your. I have some like Axie merchandise here, which is nice, and then
The
I
one
have
that's
my
really
dog
good.
with me here as well. See, you want to jump here?
Oh,
Okay. Oh, see.
oh, nice. How old is
Oh,
he?
this guy is 4 years old, so he's starting to get a little bit old.
Oh, good.
So let's see. Actually, are we live? Is the Katana pool live now, or is it in an hour or two?
Full came live 1 hour ago.
Oh, nice. All right, cool.
Yeah, and
Congratulations. That's great.
yeah, I was actually I didn't I was waiting for the Canada pool to open up to buy some APRs myself because I couldn't get past the Bybit KYC myself,
Oh, really?
and I was expecting the price to drop a little bit because the DEX opened and there was still like over half of the APRs bought from the community round still here, but yeah, we got very strong diamond hands, so I just aped in just now, but everything is looking good. But yes, well, there's around 70 people here right now, but I have yet to send an invite in the in Twitter. I should let me get that up
Yeah,
as
I'll
well.
also retweet it a little bit.
Let
If
me let
you
me
put it out there, and then I'm sure a
put
couple
it in
more
here because
people will join.
major announcements as well as the big elephant in the room that we should address, Alex. I do notice that we should get that out first. Okay, I guess people would start rolling in a bit more.
Did you tag me in that? Or I will tag
Nope.
you.
I forgot. As my tradition goes, I have very lazy and ad hoc tweets throw out there that I still need a lot more
Okay.
practice. Hopefully, G host
Yeah, I mean that's all right. I'm not
will
a
teach
I'm
me.
not a amazing Twitter person either. We have a lot to learn there, I guess.
I need G host to teach me how to do proper tweets on Friday. When we have our next masterclass on community building. But I think we can start. We have more people coming in here now, and
Mhm.
I guess you don't need any introductions here. A lot of people here know you very, very well, as well
I
as
mean,
our
some people
community.
might not, so I think I'll do it. Just a fast one for those who don't know me. I'm Alexander. I'm one of the co-founders of Sky Mavis and Axie Infinity and Ronin. I'm also the chairman of the board at Sky Mavis. So I lead our business side, venture, finance, legal, operations, those kind of things. So more grown-up stuff. I used to do product and more community back in the day. But as a startup, you always do many, many different things. There's no like set or no day is really the same. So I try to spend my time wherever it's used most effectively to push forward the vision and the mission of Roll the Network and also the game studios that we partner with. So that's me.
Wonderful. On a side note, for especially my community, a lot of you know I've been working in management, consulting, and private equity for many years before I ventured into this gaming company. And when I was half drunk on Bailey's wedding, I grabbed Alexander and told him that throughout my years of meeting many top management in the world, I told him he's probably one of the good ones out there, and I would still have a lot to learn from him, especially in this space. And this is the whole point of this masterclass, because I mean, we're just starting out. There's a lot for us to learn. I mean, we've been developing the product, but to be honestly frank, I mean, well, that's a pun on my name, but there's a lot we can do better on the Web3 side, on the marketing, the community, and the coordination, and I really want to learn from Sky Mavis and you how we can do things better. What is the key that lets you guys grow from Axie to Ronin to this day? Really a lot that I want to learn. But at the same time, with the token launch and especially with the DX launch just now, just want to get the big elephant out of the room, because I do notice a lot of the community members, as you have also notified me, as well as that a lot of them were concerned about the DX listing that came after the CEX and why it wasn't together. Right, Alex? Are you okay with me going straight?
So, yeah, I think what we saw on Twitter. Okay, I guess first, thank you for all the praise. I mean, I think we still, as executives or as any leader of any company, there is always a lot to learn, right? So, even though I might be doing good things at Sky Mavis, I also think that there are a lot of people that I need to learn from myself about, like, how do we build a company that's sustainable for the next 20-30 years, right? I mean, that's or even beyond that, like, that's kind of what I'm building for here. I think crypto is usually very short term, often for many people. That's really not what I'm here for. I think the potential of Sky Mavis and the platform and all the partners that we have here is massive. So the people that we work with right now, I only want to work with the best people that also think in this way, that that are in this for the long term and want to build really exciting IPs and games that can last for decades. So that's it. And then talking more specifically about what happened with the DEX launch and the SEX launch, Sky Mavis, we try to work closely with all our partners, and we have different ways of experimenting with each partner. Some might need more help on some things, and some actually don't need so much help at all. And then we try to find a solution that we think makes sense for both the game and Sky Mavis, and also the community, which is probably the most important thing. So I think for the APRS launch, what we liked is that it actually gave the community the opportunity to buy tokens at a relatively cheap price. I mean, nobody knows what a token is going to launch at. I think we all had very high expectations because the underlying product is great, and the team that's building the Apeiron, the game, is also great. So that is usually a good precipice of what might happen. So when we were discussing, or with our team and with your team, as you know, trying to find out why or how do we make it so that we can also kind of protect the community. Because what we do know is when a token launches on a centralized exchange, it can be very volatile at the start. In this situation, I think the choice ended up being that the centralized exchange listing should come first, and then the decentralized exchange listing a little bit after, right?
Yeah, that was me. I mean, I'm supposed to be the one explaining all this. So I was just seeing if there's anything. This is, I mean, the one who proposed all this is obviously me, but I'm not trying to do in my shoes. I was actually just reiterating what's going on, and I should be the one who tells the community of this choice. Then I mean, that was the miscommunication. But yeah, to pick it up, for us, our migration to Ronin, from the migration to Ronin to the preparing of the events and and the launching of our tokens, it all happened pretty damn fast for us. Everything was the blink of an eye. The growth, the bull market and everything. So but we've been preparing a lot of stuff on the side, talking with many exchanges since summer, even KOLs since midsummer last year, as we were planning to go for our launch. But much like the typical project mindset, we try to go for the centralized listing first, because it's traditionally, I guess, better that we initially list on a centralized exchange. I mean, that's the common thing that we were told by VCs, advisors, and probably most of our OG members who hope we get an initial listing on the CEX. That's why we've been focusing on launching on the CEX. But actually, it was not in our intention to launch one after another at the beginning. Not for any strategic purposes or pricing matters. Well, it is a little strategic, but we initially wanted to list both together as well. But as I've told Aleks, Kai Mifis, and a lot of our advisors and some OG members as well, that for price volatility for TGE is very prevalent, and when there's a very volatile pricing and a liquidity pool, more often than not, people who stake early, and to my understanding, may have the pertinent loss and opportunity cost over there. So perhaps it would be better if we let the price stabilize before we set up the liquidity pools. So those who commit to the liquidity pool early and won't suffer from the price volatility. I mean, that was in theory what we thought. Do we know whether the token price will? Honestly, very surprised our token and the support of the community is so strong that we maintain this pricing and this traction since launch. But at the same time, yes, a lot of feedback from the community saying we should have done the DX together so that the Ronin crowds and everyone have that equal opportunity. Which, in hindsight, of course, I think would have been the better choice. And we still have 2 tokens coming out. I mean, the second one is Anima. There's a third one called Regularity, which will be later down the road for the massive guild wars. We will definitely, as we did in the community round, a lot of you who've been in here have seen us do a lot of funny, wacky Web3 antics. And a lot of times we don't do it right in the first try, but we definitely make it right as we go along and we prepare. And so we will definitely improve better further down the road. And I have to say it's still very early, our token launches here, but we are quite a differently built tokenomics project. So that I think the pricing, there's still a lot of opportunity to go, but I'm the project founder and the co-founder, so I'm very biased. And also, yeah, I mean, I am very grateful for Ronin Network and for their team, for the community. I would never, even for the early supporters such as Zombie Club and everyone who have supported us in this space, I would never try to take advantage of anyone of these sorts. And I will definitely be rewarding all our supporters and the Ronin family in the long run and periodically throughout. It's just in the TGE phase that we have to be careful and just monitor it carefully. So that's why actually I was talking to the team right after a quick chat with Aleks that maybe we really could have done better and we really should reward the Ronin crowds who helped supported us more. So we are planning to increase the airdrop amounts to the Ronin crowds, as well as the state, especially the stakers who help us in the liquidity pool or supporting Apeiron with more airdrop. So you guys will definitely see more rewards laid out soon for those who support us, especially from the Ronin side. Be they be here for just supporting staking or actively engaging. I think this is the least we can do to show that we are very happy for this opportunity. But yeah, I hope things still give us the benefit of the doubt. I mean, we're still it's quite a busy time over here, and we have a small indie team, so we will need some help from the community to throw suggestions, to give us advice, especially the Sky Mavis team as well. We stay in close contact, especially from these masterclasses. Hopefully, we can reach a solution that everyone's happy, although quite hard in this space. But we'll always try and push. And
so
yeah, sorry,
what I will say is, if this is failing, launching a token at like 1.7 billion FTV, I think everyone is excited to see what success looks like. Because to me, I think it was a great launch. There's like, and one thing that I found is, there's always some room to improve. But yeah, I think a lot of the Ronin community should be really happy that they got a chance to buy in the sale. And I think even we were surprised at the amount of demand that came in from the stakers. I think it was $70 million staked, which is incredible for such an early time, I would say. So pretty interesting to follow that. And obviously that means that there will be some less tokens, but for everyone. But overall, it should be a massive success, right? It's 10x or even more up from that time. So people should definitely feel excited about that. And as you said, like there's many different tokens that are coming, and that's also one thing that I like about. And I'm going to say Apeiron because that to me makes more sense than I guess a lot of people say Apeiron. People have a different way of saying the name of this project. So, but what I'm excited here is that there's a lot of experimentation going on. And last week, I was on stage with Frank in Hong Kong. We were talking, to many different investors about how Sky Mavis looks at different teams and what are the kind of entrepreneurs that we want to work with. And I think it's so important to not be afraid of testing out new things. And that's really what I like. I mean, 2 tokens, 3 tokens, there's even some kind of breeding in here almost with the planets, which is particularly interesting for me as well, because we've seen what is possible when it comes to, for example, the Axie economy. So I think everyone who's here, particularly in the space right now, you're all really early into something that can be massive, and that's also why we're very excited to work with a team like with Apeiron. And I think even looking at, for example, the Axie tokens or AXS, when that launched on Binance, it was just the beginning. And I think that a lot of people, especially game developers in the space here, they're underestimating or maybe looking at token launches or sales or like in a little bit of the wrong way. Because for me, and I think particularly it's come to I've been able to understand this more over the past couple of years. It's actually not about making money when it comes to selling assets or selling tokens to the communities. It's about getting more people to buy into the vision of what it is that you're doing, right? So that's why it's actually great when the price goes up rather than selling something that's too expensive, because then you have more people that have bought into the vision because they already somehow feel like they made money on your game. And there's something interesting here where people then, some will sell, but other people will actually buy more because they feel like they are now into something that is potentially great. And those are the people that we actually want as core community members. So yeah, that's I guess how I see it.
Oh, you definitely have proven that yourself with the entire Ronin network. I've never seen the fervor and loyalty presented in the community. Of course, it's quite eye-opening, and it definitely helped us a lot over there. But well, back to the original masterclass material that we want to cover today is, well, of course, learning from the backstory. I read it in multiple interviews regarding your days when you first ventured over to Vietnam to all the way to from Axie to Ronin, but really want to listen once more time again. So from Axie to Ronin, what was the managerial decision then? Because if to see Axie's success and to take that and to also create your own chain, I think that move, especially during 2021, is 2022 is, well, 2021 is quite pivotal.
It was actually even earlier than that when we started discussing it in the first place. So I'm sure there are some new people here or some people in the audience who doesn't know the full story. So Sky Mavis is now a 6-year-old company, a little bit older than that. But 6 years ago, I quit my job. I moved to Vietnam to build out this small game, which was going to be Axie Infinity. And I was originally not a co-founder of that, but I became a co-founder of Axie as well as I started to work even closer with Trong and Andy and Tu and Jeff were the other co-founders. But what we did is we actually took the Axie company and we merged it into Sky Mavis, which is then this kind of overarching company which had a bigger vision. Because as we started building in the industry, we understood that there's a lot of problems that people don't really understand how to solve, because there weren't that many game studios. There weren't actually nobody that had been really successful, but we had many people coming to us saying that they understood our problems, that they knew how to solve it, and they could help us. And our belief has always been like, to actually help someone, or to give good feedback, you actually have to really understand the problem yourself first. And that usually comes from actually doing the thing yourself, right? So you solve a problem, you get better at it, and then you can give advice to others. And that's kind of what we thought, is that by building Axie, first of all, we will get stronger by actually understanding the industry that we're operating in at a higher level. Because the best way to actually learn something is by doing it. So you understand the pain points of the customers, you understand the pain points of your partners in a very unique way, rather than sitting there and thinking about some problem that's theoretical in your head, right? It doesn't really work like that. You have to do things to get good data that you can then act on and improve on. So as we started building more in the industry, we started to realize that there's a big lack of understanding of how to build for game developers. And we're game developers, so we figured, well, maybe we can provide those tools and services to other game studios as well. And initially, we didn't want to make our own chain. We deployed a part of our infrastructure on something called Loom Network, because they said that they could solve our problem. And what actually happened is that they changed their strategies midway, and they pivoted into healthcare. And it was like an absurd setback for Sky Mavis, because we had deployed land assets there. So we knew that we couldn't scale it on Ethereum, and then we realized we couldn't scale it on Loom, and we started looking around in the space, and we just really didn't see anyone else that we could trust. So that's when we decided to make Rona Network our own chain, and that was like late 2020, maybe early 2021 when we started to when we even deployed it. So at that time, it wasn't consensus, or people didn't want to create their own layer 2s or anything like that. So we did something that was very, there wasn't really any rules or any guiding to do it. We just figured that this is the way that we are going to do it to solve our own problem first. And I think that really paid off for us. There's been a lot of pain points there too that we had to go through. Such as the bridge hack, for example, because things really started to grow so fast that we didn't have full control of everything. So I think these are problems that any game studio or any company will face when they grow exceptionally fast. And the funny thing is, Frank, you guys are a little bit in that period yourself too. And I can I already know that you are trying to keep your servers up, or that there's a problem with maybe the economy, or you're trying to see how many people are getting rewarded here and there, and how many bots are there, and how are the community reacting to everything you do, and that there are content creators that are judging you based on whatever else that they might say, and someone is always mad. Like, that is the path we chose, right? So I think and that's hopefully where we also can help from a Sky Mavis perspective, to act as a sounding board. If there are problems, what can we help the teams that we're working with avoid doing that we did, for example, that didn't work. So when I look at Axie, I see some mistakes that we made, for example, like maybe we made too many promises in some cases, because we didn't know better, because we didn't know how long it would take to build. And then I can see Ronan, we haven't made those type of promises because we know what it takes, right? So you also grow as entrepreneurs, and hopefully, we're able to give those lessons to the teams that we work with.
Funny story is the very first train when we chose, even before Polygon, our co-founders, both of them actually suggested Ronin, because we played a lot of Axie before, and they both think that the user interface and the wallet is probably one of the best for gaming. And sadly, you guys were not open for for other game developers back then. But I'm very happy that we ended up here, and that was a really, really, well, personally motivating speech, because I can understand every single point that you just pointed out exactly. Feeling that, and I'm very grateful that I actually have this kind of advice and mentorship over here in Sky Mavis. So yeah, there's a lot more to do over here. And also, one of the key problems is, yes, scaling is definitely one thing that is a big problem over here. So I think we hit like 60-ish people, and then it starts to be really problematic. There's a very clear lack of middle management that we can't find over here. But for Yeah, Hong Kong. There's a lot of game developers and artists, but Hong Kong developers are very shy. They're not very vocal. They're not good. There's very few artists that are good managers, and it's just it takes time, I guess. And we do have some luck running into good people. But anyway, right back to Sky Mavis. So how many people is in Sky Mavis right now?
So right now we have 255, I guess, as of yesterday or so. So constantly growing and trying to find the
So
best
how
people with the right vision, I would say. About
so how many
50% are working maybe on the game side, so an Axie related stuff, and 50% more on Ronin and I don't know the protocol and everything that's surrounding that is kind of a rough estimate. But yeah, we have dedicated teams that are working specifically to help game studios, kind of a publishing team as we call them, even though it's not necessarily publishing in the same sense as Web2 publishing. But yeah.
Yes, actually, you guys feel more like a console, like a Nintendo or Sony or PC that people build on and a publisher. But
Yeah,
those
I
two
think
become.
it's a good way to look at chains because yeah. So one thing that I like to compare it to is almost like back in the day, if you are in a social if your social circle all have Nintendos, it's more likely that you're going to buy your own Nintendo. The same goes for PlayStation, right? So I think like it's a little bit similar. If all your friends are playing Ronin games, you're more likely to have a Ronin wallet and play Ronin games as well, because that's kind of just what your community does. And I think that's great, but we also need to expand beyond that and say that just like Nintendo maybe is focusing on an age group that's maybe what can you say, like 6 to 15, and PlayStation is maybe like 13 to 18 or 20 or something. Maybe we need to find our niche there as well over time. But for now, there's just a lot of, I could say, value to capture all over the place. So we would rather say that rather than focusing on age groups, we can say that we're more focused on games that can hit bigger demographics in terms of like global presence. So they try to, let's say they go more in the emerging markets. I think for Apeiron, it has a very broad appeal. Actually, it can go both emerging market and actually in the West. There's actually an interesting question for you. How do you think about Apeiron from a market perspective, and also from a perspective of the game itself? Like, for example, running on low quality devices in the future. I guess, like, what is your priority?
Right now, it's definitely trying to target accessibility. So we think actually also is one of the key influencing decisions when it comes to choosing the chain, because we think in terms of global adoption of Web3 games, especially, we think the mobile gaming audience have more potential than the traditional gaming audience. And because blockchain, mobile monetization is handy, the users over there are more receptive to more new technologies and things. So we wanted to target like mobile gamers as a crowd. And honestly, I found the company based on trying to create a mobile game. But right now, we just want to onboard more users. What we really want to do is try to onboard more gamers. People actually would love the game and enjoy the game. This is what we've been doing for the past 2 years. It's been hard to onboard new users, but with our unique gameplay mechanisms and IP, I guess we tend to find quite a duty crowd that really understands us and can be the core anchor that stays with us as we expand. I think we are sort of in a reversed order of creation. Many IP brands out there start with like stories, animations, or comics to try to find and reach their audience. Once they have it and achieved commercial success, they would then develop games or other types of things around it. But I think Axie and Apeiron share this. We got the hard part done, actually. We got the game done. And then it's only up to us to find the right branding and stories, and we can expand beyond the gaming industry because we already got the core vehicle down, which is the toughest part of the development. And we survived the development phase. So from out here onward, it would just be trying to expand the brand, be it beyond the game or to other industry verticals. That would be our focus next, as we expand on the age groups. But gaming will always be our core vehicle. The target audience will always be. I think the Web3 audience shares very a lot of similarity with our core audience, from teenage to adults actually. So it's a pretty wide range we're going for. The moment we devise Apeiron, we are trying to go for a global IP franchise that has global appeal. So we try to do that. But still, I mean, there's a lot more things that needs to be learned and built in place. And, we've reached, let's say, 1/3 of our journey now after 8 years. 2 more thirds to go to see the full fruition of the IP franchise, and hopefully still on Ronin Network then. And excited to see what Ronin Network will have become or evolve.
Yeah, maybe in a couple of years you'll have your own Apeiron chain built on top of the Ronin stack. When we announce that, it'll still be connected, still use the same tools and the same community, just more scalable, and you can capture more value as well. So I think that for us is kind of what we want to enable for developers as well when we think about how is this all going to scale. So I'm quite excited about that. But we'll always be very focused on community and bringing in the right partners. I would say that believe in our vision, and also that are very focused on accessibility, as you said, and trying to spread awareness of blockchain to throughout the world. But that can only happen, in our opinion, through very successful games. It's usually what people use to adopt new technologies. And it's a way to actually kind of trick them into using something that maybe they don't really care about too much, but then suddenly they start using it and they really understand all the benefits that are there. That's actually one way. The other way is kind of getting them into this ecosystem because of money or play to earn, basically. I think a good game needs both things to succeed, because if you don't do it, then you're probably not using the superpower of Web3 in the best possible way. And to me, those are kind of the people that I want to work with.
I agree. Incentivization and incentivization is the key to user acquisition and retention. That has been prevalent in the traditional gaming industry all along. And now Web3 have the power to even monetize this incentivization. I think it will take some bumps and turns to really get the word out and find a sweet spot, but definitely extremely powerful incentives, and we just have to get it right. And like I always said during the first pitch in the early days when they asked about mass adoption, I think a good story and a good game drives users across mediums, and people will be willing to try if we have good stories and good games. I think Ronin will be publishing a lot of good games, stories, and everything. And with the tag and accessibility, it's just a matter of time. But definitely want to help Ronin reach new audiences with Apeiron as we approach mobile and different markets. And we really want to introduce the Ronin wallet and the features as well. So, yeah.
I'm excited to see Apeiron kind of grow into a transmedia IP, whether that means anime or you always have some plushies, already have some plushies behind you, and I think it's such a natural fit, right, to kind of grow beyond just where we are today. And I think blockchain is perfect to build, even closer connections with the people that you have in your community, because they feel like they have an actual stake in it. And that's what makes me so excited is, when you have what I would say, this is kind of a new play pattern. It has some semblance of what you would know and feel, but it's still generally also quite new. So to me, that makes me quite excited, because it means that when you suddenly find some traction and people start hearing about it, they start playing it and they realize that, hey, this is, why did I not think about this before? And it's also kind of how, when we look at what kind of play patterns are great to have on Ronin, is usually a combination of something that maybe has been done before but with a new twist, or something that's really worked, but they're innovating heavily on the economy. What I think is interesting about you guys is, you're innovating both a little bit on gameplay, but also innovating a lot on economy. And I think if that really works, it's going to be explosive. And that makes me quite excited.
It will take a lot of twists and turns and ups and falls, but we'll get there. We'll get there with the right help. And as for the IP and transmedia, yeah, that's something that we really think actually blockchain can really help as well, because the interoperability and also on-chain data, not just for the IP, but for digital ownership in terms of a business level, not even the consumer level. The business level, if we look into AI, the ownership of artwork and gameplay mechanisms will be blurry very soon. Actually, blockchain provides the answer in tracking and maintaining this licensing, this ownership. I think that's actually the ultimate key to one of the futures of blockchain is merging with AI and being the ledger for AI creation or digital AI creation to pay its due to its owner, which is the biggest problem for AI content creation right now. No one can license anything. I think that's something that should be discovered over there. It was quite similar because we, as game developers, try to incorporate AI into our work. It would help save a lot of costs, but due to copyright issues, we couldn't. So I kept searching and searching, similar to how you guys were searching for the right chain before. I kept trying to find the right AI licensing solutions online with lawyers and even with some of the biggest funded AI projects out there. None of them have a solution for AI licensing. Everyone's just developing products. Nobody's paying dues to the ownership of the artwork, which we find absurd. So yeah, but I guess that would be a bit further down the road. We'll have to focus on that.
Are you using any AI in Apeiron right now at all?
No. I mean, sometimes for the community artwork, for some of the Twitter, maybe AMA posters, we do it for fun, or some in our little fan tribute channel, we do some of it. But we're still experimenting. We do hope to integrate it. The only part AI we integrate right now is the ChatGPT, where the dudes, the pets, the NFTs, they actually chat back to you. You can train them in Apeiron. But in terms of
So that is
artwork,
actually the funny part is from a like messaging or branding perspective, I'm sure that there are blockchain games out there that are positioning themselves as, you know, AI, big on AI, because they have some random like chat GPT connection, or like some NFTs, like they're trying to say that these NFTs are real because they're using chat GPT. And I think it's so funny because you can always lean into these kind of narratives, but at the end of the day, like how can you use these to your real benefit inside the game is what matters. And I think you touched on it as well, like in terms of intellectual property and like what does it mean when some AI or some machine is like creating something, like where did that, like the data set originate from, who is actually the owner of that. And a lot of people don't really even think about that at all, which to me is kind of funny, because if you're building like $1 billion business on something that's not even kind of yours, you know, it's arguably probably not that smart, which is why I'm also quite a little bit skeptical for now. But I think, you know, it's a good way to get higher market cap for those who are doing it. For Axie, you know, we've been experimenting a little bit, but it's not been necessarily a great fit, and it's probably not something that we are going to be marketing around, that Axie or Ronin is now AI, even though we have ChatGPT or whatever. I just think that's it's a little bit sloppy, I guess.
I think this is the job for the indie developers such as us to play around and experiment with, and you can just have us try and experiment, and we will be the harbingers, because it is as an indie developer, it's our job to test out new technology and try to merge them. There's no reason for the bigger ones, the more stable ones, to risk this at this stage with so much uncertainty. But I do think there may be some interesting things that can be evolved. But we'll see. We'll see. It doesn't hurt, I guess, to add some parts as long as we don't bet too much on it. I mean, we've built too many things over the past years to risk it all to lose on an IP, intellectual property for AI. Yeah.
Yeah.
So All right, let me move on to some of probably the final question. Oh, wow, I think you actually answered the second one in the panel we had. The final one is, so how can Apeiron help? I think you also answered that one. What do you hope Apeiron to do in the Ronin network? Is there anything beyond what we can achieve in success in the future, in the long run? What do you hope to see from us when we grow,
So
maybe in
yeah.
IP?
So probably what I hope the most for any game, it's very general, is that the community that starts playing your game really loves it, and that they are happy with the team that's building it, that the passion from the team kind of really starts flowing into the community, and that it builds a stronger network effect for that game, but also for Ronin. And for us, I think that's very, very, very important, because it's actually what we always try to do with Axie, and what we try to do with Ronin is kind of building a stronger connection with the people who are here. Because I think I said it on stage in Hong Kong as well. To me, technology is not a moat. Like, there's a reason why people, still use Bitcoin, not Bitcoin Cash. For those of you guys who will remember those days, it's a community. It's about the network effects of the people that use the tech, not the tech itself. And from a Ronin perspective, of course, we can enable all sorts of fancy technologies and scale from there. But competing on that is not necessarily going to be scalable. So I think that's also a little bit of what I'm expecting for the game studios, is that they stay true to their vision and they serve their communities and find their own niche of people that love their game. And I think what's great about blockchain tech is, some games will get 100,000 or a million players, right? And that's kind of what we want. But some might even get 10,000, 20,000 that are like core lovers of their game. And maybe that's actually enough, because the monetization is quite different here. And then they can keep building for decades, and keep building and shipping more games, and building a transmedia IP, and there will be more shots on goal over time. So I guess as I said, my hope for Apeiron is, of course, going global, hitting millions of people, becoming a massive IP, but also that stay true to the community, make sure that people, they see who are building this, and that you guys really care about it, and that you don't get lost in something else because of money or whatever this crypto industry might bring. And even and when the times get dark, because they will, because that's is also a part of blockchain. Price goes up, people get very excited. Price goes down, people get very mad. Sticking through those times, and making sure that the people who are here also keep believing in the IP and on the team is going to be really important. So yeah, that is my hope.
Certainly try to meet the expectations and beyond. All right. Well, thank you for your time.
Meeting those are very difficult, I would say, because every time you ship something, the expectation that you will ship something even greater goes up, right? So, and we had that with Axie as well. It's very difficult to live up to the expectation of the player base, and that is something that I wish we were even better at. So hopefully, the games that we work with will learn from that, and be quite careful with expectations, and shipping what matters, and then making people fall in love with their game.
Well, I think you guys actually did a great job from Axie to Ronin. You shifted the love to an entire network, and they stayed. And even if they leave
But I mean,
Axie,
people still love Axie. I actually love Axie too. I think Axie is going to be an amazing IP in the long term. I think we have some work to do still left with the game, but I think that's acceptable too, because we're still dedicated to it. Just as Nintendo has Mario, Sky Mavis will have Axie. It's always going to be a part of our soul, and the same probably for you as well. Like, you've been building this company for 8 years. Like, I don't see you leaving tomorrow. To me, this is a part of your life, and it needs that needs to show to everyone who's in this game, and like that's why you listen to the people who are here in the community, and that's why, because you're also kind of an esports player as well, right? And that's why you're kind of making a competitive game. I can see that there are questions in the chat, like if I think that Apeiron could be a competitive game, sure. To me, that I don't see anything stopping that. Like, I'm actually playing Brawl Stars like a little bit competitively, not so much, but I play Age of Empires a little bit competitively when I have time. I haven't played that much Apeiron yet, but for me, I mean, I saw the rise of Dota, and it came organically from the community that they started competing in that game because they loved it, and then eventually an esports scene kind of sprung out of that. And I think I want to see more of that in crypto as well, because it's like a lot of the time crypto is like being propped up by money, and the same thing also goes for for the regular esports industry where everything is about money. But hopefully, the sometimes there can be a tournament even without any monetary rewards because people just want to play and have fun, and I think that's okay to have as well. Even though you use money to drive a lot of attention, when the game is great, people will just play it, right? And I think that's kind of where we're heading in the next 5, 6, 7 years in this industry. Yeah.
No, great. I think actually blockchain and play to earn, win to earn is the ultimate key and the piece of the puzzle that will complete the esports narrative. I wouldn't call it esports. I think it's more like a casual a competitive gamer economy is needed to help sustain esports, and that's why so many esports teams and agencies are so friendly towards crypto. I think it's a very natural fit. And it's from there that we can approach the main audience, the mainstream audience, to show that they are actually good games people can enjoy and compete and even earn. So looking forward to try to achieve that and do more competitions together with actually the Ronin Network as well, with Axie. We really loved. We've been to several exhibitions. Most of them somehow we see Axie doing competitions. The people, the casters, it's great. Hopefully one day we can have one over there. And as usual,
I mean, you're doing something, right? There's a couple of tournaments coming up. So I mean, I think you're just getting started in that sense. Let me see. Saw some questions here as well. Do I sleep? Actually, I try to sleep as much as I can, even though it probably doesn't look like it, because I have I'm always looking kind of tired. That also happens when you are not worried a lot, but when you are intensely focused on things in your life, it feels like, especially for me. But yeah, I'm more focused on actually trying to take care of my health now than ever. What's this deadly? Is there any reason the Apeiron team did not think about Realm Staker airdrop? That's actually not something from a Sky Mavericks perspective. We talk to teams about what we think they should do, and if they do it or not, that's up to them. In this case, we probably have to ask Frank about it if something is coming there or not. I don't really know. But I think that's it's one way to engage with the community, and from what I've seen from the Apeiron team is that they really care about the community. So maybe it's something there, or maybe something else. That's probably what I would say. It depends on how you want to reward the community.
Oh, that we mentioned in the beginning of the AMA that there will be rewards for Realm Stakers. So in there,
yeah. Well, that's good. I mean, more some leak there probably, but I'm sure a lot of people will be excited about that. Let's see if there's something else. Can you tag me? Don't tag me. I get too many tags everywhere. It's okay here now, but yeah. All right, I think that's it for questions in the chat. Did you have any other final questions, I guess, Frank? Or
not really. I have to jump to work and get next stuff in order. I really appreciate your time, Aleks, and really happy to meet you so consecutively since Bailey's wedding.
Yeah, very week after week now. I feel like it's good getting to know you, so that's good. All right, yeah, thank you guys for coming, and thank you, Frank, for the invitation. Hopefully some of the words that I said here resonates with some people in the audience, whether you're a builder, community member, or just someone who wants to see a little bit more about how we think about it. At the end of the day, I'm bullish on Apeiron and Frank and what's happening here. So I'm excited to see where this will go. All right. Thanks, guys.
Come on. Wow, so much to learn. If you guys have ever been to management classes, he's probably one of the key examples of what a good management leader should be. So one day, if you guys want to pursue your own dreams, start your own companies, certainly try to look to Aleks for some mentorship and guidance. All right, guys, back to work. and time to focus back on the TGE. And my God, you guys are not selling. I keep wanted to buy at a better price. I so regret I didn't get jump in at 1.5 now. Okay, no token shilling. Have a good one. I will hopefully be able to play this season's game next week when I get a bit more times on my hands, and I'll see you guys in the arena. Okay, League. What's the alpha? Oh, actually, the expanded rewards for the liquidity pool stakers. Well, I'll have to put you guys on the rain track on that one a little closer. But there will be APRS rewards along with animal rewards for those who stake in the liquidity pools. So stake some there. And for the Ronin stakers, I'll be chatting with some of the Ronin users to give some advice and suggestions as to how we can reward everyone. So stake early, stake now if you want some extra APRs, but do try to stake a bit more on Bybit as well. Both sides, staking on both pools will be a pretty good choice to earn yourself some extra APRs as you watch our prices. Maybe go a little further. And but before that, remember to breed. Breeding is actually the best way to increase your assets in that pool. The breeding costs are very low. Breed it, expand it. You may find yourselves earning profits. Oh shit, I shouldn't be promising profits, but you may find yourselves expanding your assets a lot more better if you breed instead of just holding onto those tokens. We are a game after all, and you should utilize the tokens in the game so that you can earn the arbitrage. All right. Well, take it easy, guys, and thank you for being here. I'll see you guys on Friday morning my time. That's 28th. What? Asta or Biku, can you post the drinking session, the morning drinking session that we're going to have with G-Host coming up? Another piece of quite interesting news to tackle over there. You guys will see as we actually do listen to the community, and we actually do want to be fair and right to everyone who've been working with us. So I'll do something for you guys all to look forward to on the Friday drinking. Hopefully I don't get too drunk. And we can see G-Host talk about community management and hear some wild stories from the community during the early days of Axie. All right, thank you guys. Have a good one. And don't go too crazy.